hope all are safe and wish you all safe stay during this challenging time. It was very important during this time. We have learned a lot that how we need to go onto the technology platform. And accordingly, we are trying to organize on every week at least 1 or 2 sessions with regard to upgradations of knowledge, upgradations of this technology within the systems, which we have been lacking in our logistics industries. Just due to this lacking, we have been facing the challenge scenarios during this COVID for our operations. And I am thankful to our chairman, Mr. Vijay Kumarji, who has selected some of the important topics for our members, which can really bring a thoughtful process for the future of the logistics industries. So today's topic, I would now request upon our chairman, Mr. Vijay Kumar sir, to please give upon the welcome address to our members and open up the theme for the webinar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shankar. I welcome all our members and participants for this webinar on FFI along with portal for that digitization of that supply chain documentation. You are all aware of that this crisis period, the custom brokers, the transactions of the customs related activities, most of the activities are doing through online, on digitized, and customs and the DG system extended a lot of facility for us to complete our documentation work through online systems. But the other side of it, the physical clearance with other stakeholders in the supply chain, like shipping lines, container terminals, CFS, and all other related areas, still we have to do a lot of manual activities. That is the reason we thought it is that the right subject you have to discuss about that digitalization of the other activities of the supply chain. The two most important things we are discussing today is, one is the electronic bill of lading. Second subject we want to talk is about the PCS, the Port Community System 1X. With us now that the representatives of Portal and the Cargo X is with us to explain about this, their plans and program for about the digitization of these documents. You are all aware of that now, that most of the time taken for that, the surrendering of the bill of lading and collecting the delivery order and all the other supply chain stakeholders. Still, we are moving a lot of documents manually. So at this crisis period, there are certain relaxation. People are working at home, and we are emailing or scanning the document and sending that. A temporary measure, shipping lines are extending the facility of the electronic delivery order, and still there are a lot of things we have to do furthermore on this. So today with us, these two organizations, one is the Cargo X, will talk about that eBL of lading, and of course that portal will demonstrate about that the role of the custom brokers in the port community system. And of course, the future is only for digitalization, and of course we can do our activities only through the electronic platform. With this, I welcome all of you for this joint webinar of FFI with Portal, and I hand over to Shankar to proceed further. Thank you, Shankar.
Thank you, Chairman, Mr. Vijay sir. Once again, welcome to all these speakers on this webinar. Mr. Peter Kern, the CEO of CargoX, who will be presenting on the demonstrating on the whole process of the e-bill of lading. Then we have Yaka Mele, the CDO of CargoX. Later on, we will have the speaker, Mr. Shri Chandra Shah, who will be talking about our role of custom brokers into the PCS 1X. And then we'll have a detailed introduction by Meera Kumar ma'am with regard to the introduction and the background of the companies, how are they going to integrate with the PCS. But meantime, to start with technology, because technology is a very wider word, the subject. And when we talk about the technology blockchain in our industry, we are looking towards a big advantage of blockchain technology is that how does it creates an environment for trust between and among us, the parties who are transacting the businesses, for the exchange of information with an integrity and ensuring data integrity and providing full proof audit trial for the systems. So we are looking for the potential to facilitate collaboration between the government to government agencies with the international trade. When we talk on this technology platform, we also have WCO who is working on this artificial intelligence, where a lot of adaptation are taken into consideration like machine learning, natural language processing, neural networks, deep learning, and further they are working on the trade facilitation agreement measures, which is on the digital customs platform. With this, looking forward for the efficient and centralization and standardization of the entire customs tariff and classification globally, we need to have this technology-based support system, which is now we have already experienced on this single window. So now going beyond this national single window, we are looking towards the EATA Carnet projects or the ETR Carnet projects and framework of standards for cross-border e-commerce, which will bring in transparency and accountability for every stakeholders, performance, measurement, adaptability, and ease of doing business. We have experienced a model like adopted, which is adopted by Singapore and Hong Kong GTCN, which is a global trade connectivity platform, which is an attempt to integrate digital platforms, starting to address and provide digital solutions to challenging prevalent in international trade, where security aspects are the most important to build the trust among our logistics players and international trade. So with this, I would request Ms. Meera ma'am to come upon and introduce the Cargo X for the further presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Before I introduce my colleagues from CargoX, I will take 2 minutes to tell all the members of Triple FAI a very big thank you from Portal and CargoX. We are really privileged to be here, and we look forward to an interactive Q&A. As many of you know, Portal runs the Indian PCS 1X. We are a company that's very passionate about digital initiatives. We partner with the International PCS Association. I was so pleased with what Mr. Shankar Shinde set as context and Mr. Vijay Kumar set as context. Isn't it strange that when we are talking about technology, the words we use are very human words like trust and integrity? And in the freight forwarding and customs broking business, I'm sure you'll all agree, many of you are second generation, third generation. Trust and integrity has been the pillars of building this business. So we actually, as we rolled out PCS and as we started looking what else will contribute to bringing this trust and bringing this willingness to come on a platform for everybody, we realized that there are small areas, basic areas, which also needed to come on the platform. One big one is documentation. So I know from the perspective of customs brokers, the documents are your lifeblood. And almost like lawyers, you are expected to maintain them over periods of 10 years at least. And every document is the difference between remaining in business or a claim or succeeding in business. So Portal has been keen to take part and find a solution to the future of documents. Of course, fortunately or unfortunately, COVID only expedited this, but we have been working on this for the past 3 4 months actually, with CargoX and with several other players in this particular niche area of digital documents. So today, what we hope to do is we will first have Mr. Patrick speak with you from an international perspective in terms of digital documentation. Very often, I hear people saying that it's very futuristic, but personally, I don't think so. And I'm hoping Peter will also give us a context in that aspect. After which, Yaka will show you CargoX as a platform. Portal has tied up with CargoX, who is the only public blockchain provider in this space. They will tell you more, of course, but we believe that it's very easy to use, and I'd be really keen to see in the Q&A if you notice the same. We believe the security levels are superior because it's public blockchain, and we believe their business model is very simple and provides value for money. After the demonstration by Yaka, we've also invited a senior legal counsel, a senior maritime lawyer, to be here, Mr. Patrick. And Patrick, Peter, Yaka, and myself will be able to answer any questions you might have in terms of how we can actually begin to use this solution in India now without waiting for some futuristic approach to adopting digital documents. With that, I thank you so much. I'll just take a second more. When you have the time, please also visit Portal. We've also started an e-learning initiative, which we feel might be useful for many of you. We look forward to collaboration with Triple FAI or any other form of value addition that any of you think we can build together. Thank you, Shankarji. I'll request Peter to start with his discussion, please. Over to you, Peter.
Thank you, Mira, and thank you, Shankar, for a good introduction. And I think the topic is right and ripe, digitization of the supply chain documents. I'm the CEO of CargoX. Just a little bit about myself. Before joining CargoX, I spent almost 14 years with ocean carrier, container carrier Maersk Line. I have in various positions from the route and regional management to the country management. Upon I also spent some years with the global freight forwarder and NVOCC. Spent some time with the container operator, so I have a mix of logistics, sea carrier, and container terminal experience. And I'm an ambassador of Going Digital. There are several reasons why we need to expedite digitization of supply chain documents. It is not only the consequence of the current pandemic, it is also the need of the development of the market and all other industries. Like in banking and in our air flight industry, everything is digitized already. Even the banks with online bankings are proceeding into complete digital environment. So I do believe that international trade and international supply chain will need to follow because it's also related to the young generation of employees, the labor market opening up to the young generations. They are bringing their own expectation how their business environment should look like. And it is up to us to actually close the gap between their private experience, how they run their private life when they do everything online and digital, and their business environment, when they do expect that the business environment, the corporations, the enterprises, the companies will offer the same or similar experience to what they have in their private life. We have been driving digitization for a couple of years now heavily through CargoX, and happy to say that since 2018, early 2019, since we have been setting up the company, we have been growing the attention and the awareness of the importance of digital maritime and supply chain documents. The market is open to it. There are basically no real restrictions towards documents being digital, because end of the day, we are talking about private documents. Even the electronic bill of lading or the bill of lading is a private document. It's not a public document. So we believe, in our experience managing their work process. I'm personally a spokesman of, don't spend a minute on a business that has already been won. So if you can get away from heavy paper administration, and relieving our staff and then employees to actually go to the printer, printing the documents, envelope, and using the courier service or the post, let's do that. Because by that we give them employees opportunity to work in a more stimulating working environment when they can feel they can add extra value. So we engage them in the activities that bring value to the company, like follow up with the customers, chasing new business, asking for more. So this kind of environment is very stimulating and cost effective, and this brings additional value to any organization, right? For me, the discussion about the digital documents, it's not that much about the content of the documents, because these are private documents. It is more about technology. And blockchain is one of the technologies that is actually allowing you or us or anybody to actually pinpoint the ownership of a digital asset. Before blockchain, that was not really possible, because within the blockchain, using smart contract, we can locate the whereabouts and the clear ownership of a specific digital asset, like the document of title, the bill of lading, at which point of time the passing of the ownership happened, who has undersigned specific transaction. So we finally have a technology that can successfully match all the requirements of digital documents, which in essence, it is a requirement that is capable of being authenticated as the apparent identity of a sender and the apparent source of the data or document, and whether it has remained complete and unlettered, right? And blockchain technology, including the CargoX platform, is perfectly suited to comply with all these requirements. So we can allocate and trace the documents back to the source, who at what time has actually published this sole digital document, the sole digital original of this document. We can trace the movement of the document along the chain, and we can also give the opportunity to the regulators, to the customs authorities or somebody else, to actually locate and go back to the source of this digital document, verifying whether the document is authentic, whether the document has been issued by the appropriate organization. And this gives all of us an opportunity to finally expedite going into the digital working environment and digital business processes, because we finally have the tools to enable us to completely digitize the workflow that we have currently within our organizations. Now, Mira has opened up very good with saying it's about trust. And this is why CargoX is using a public blockchain network. It is a completely immutable environment where all the processes are defined by smart contracts. So a set of mathematical algorithms is creating a trust environment and is becoming the single source of truth. So nobody can tamper the data, mess with the data, download, use or misuse the data that resides through the smart contract and blockchain, right? So we have created an environment of a complete trust that whatever happens and is recorded on the smart contract has happened. We cannot dispute it. It's a proof of an activity, and by using the private keys to undersign a specific documents, that also serves as a proof of endorsement of each document and each transaction. So basically, we have covered all the elements that paper or physical documents have. We believe that the technology is here to actually bypass any considerations or concerns by moving your business flow from paper to digital. And I will now welcome my colleague, Mr. Jakab Millet, to present the live platform, which will also serve as a good ground for the Q&A section later on. Now, I could go on for hours because I'm really enthusiastic and passionate about going into the digital working processes. I share that vision with Mira and with Portal. Thanks, Mira, again for being such a good partner on the Indian market. And I think that going through our presentation, we can showcase how the technology works. Of course, we can later on also touch a little bit on the content of the digital documents as such. But I repeat myself, I think it's more about understanding the technology which preserves all the parameters of a paper document, and we can build the discussion from there. So Jakab, please, if you could share the live demo of our platform.
Thank you, Peter. So let's share my screen. So thank you for having us also from my side, and welcome to all participants. So my name is Jakab Millet, and I'm a Chief Digital Officer at CargoX. I'm responsible for blockchain aspect of our platform and for technical talks to our customers, and also help them on board on the system, which is relatively easy, so I don't have a lot of work in this regard. So today I will show you a quick demo of our platform. But before I go in, just a word to emphasize on what Peter already said. So we all know that while the need for digitalization has been pressing for many years, the digitalization has not really picked up. And I think there is a very important reason why this was the case. The problem was in the trust. Because in order to digitize something before the appearance of the blockchain, you had to put your trust into another party or into a centralized authority that was running the digital document, let's say, exchange service. With the blockchain, this is no longer needed because blockchains allows you, especially the public permissionless blockchain that we are building upon, allows you to exchange information, documents, whatever else in a completely trustless way, which means it is safe, it is completely safe for you, the security is much better than any centralized solution, and all that is achieved without you need to trust anybody else. All right, so with that, let's dig into the demo. So today I will show you an exchange of a document of title, let's say a house bill of lading, between few participants. So we will do a typical exchange of documents between an issuer, which can be an NVOCC, and the shipper, so the exporter of the goods, and then consignee, and at the end, the release agent at the port of destination. So the agent of the NVOCC at the port of destination. We will do this because this is the most frequent case our customers are using, but the platform is completely flexible. It means it can be only 2 parties exchanging the document, or it can be hundreds of customers. So there is the platform is completely flexible, and we allow you to do anything you want. So it can be banks in between, it can be traders in between. The document can go both direction, forward, backward. That is not a problem. So with that, this is our application. It can be accessed through any modern web browser, also from any device, computer, tablet, smartphone. We have a completely responsible design, so everything is growing and shrinking depending on the size of your display. And also, while I'm showing you this through the web browser today, we also have a complete API available, and this public API, which allows any interested company to completely integrate all the features that I will show you to their existing backend IT solution. So there is no need to use the web interface if you decide otherwise. All right, so I'm currently logged in as a Happy Sun Logistic, which is in our demo case a NVOCC. And let's say that they want to create a new BL on the platform. So they start the process by clicking the Compose button. And here they get to select the document. So the BL document creation process is the same as it was before. So with your customers, you exchange the draft information about the BL as you did before, but at the point when the document is approved, it's final, you don't need to print it on paper, you upload it to the CargoX, which then creates a smart BL from that BL. We support PDF and all other formats. Most of our customers are using PDFs. Also, the structured formats like XML, EDI will be supported very soon. So this is completely, the flexibility is here. So I will just upload one sample BL from my computer. And I need to provide also the information about this document. So here in the properties, I will select one of the many supported document types. So we are currently supporting over 50 document types from various industries. CargoX started as a focused on the maritime shipping. So we support all BL documents, house BL, master BL, telex release, and so on. So let's choose one of the maritime documents. So let's choose house BL. And all we need to do, all the manual input that is needed is to provide the BL number and to select who will be the release agent at the port of destination. So as soon as I click this down arrow, I get to see all the companies that I'm connected with on the platform. And I will choose the Dutch logistic company that is my agent at the port of destination. All right, I can also add some email addresses here, which will be notify parties. These guys would receive an email every time the ownership of the document would pass hands, or when the state of the document would change, let's say from active BL to the released BL at the end. And let's say for the sake of visibility, I also want to add some meta information. So I will go to my text section, and here I will choose a few tags, which just makes it easier for users to sort, filter the documents in their application. And let's say we'll also do a vessel name. All right, so we put two meta information. Let's save this. And now I need to select. So I have one document now completed in my digital envelope. And now I want to select who will be the recipient of this document. So typically I will send this document to shipper. So let's select the shipper. In this case, that will be exporter toy factory. And with that, I'm ready to transfer this document to the next party. So in order to start this process, I will click the seal button. So this is analog to what we are doing today. We put the documents in the paper envelope, we seal the envelope, and then we write the recipient's address on the front page. So the same thing here. In the CargoX, what happens At the moment that you seal the envelope, all the documents that were uploaded are encrypted with the military strength encryption, and they are stored into the decentralized file storage. Also, we'll calculate a special digital fingerprint for each document, which allows us to track the authenticity of the document. And with that information, which is stored at the blockchain, we are able to prove that nobody has tampered with the document, that nobody has changed the document along the way. And with that, this means that we are dealing with the original document. All right, so let's now transfer the document to the next party. So this is an overview window. So we have an envelope with one document. It's a house BL document with this number, and we are sending it to the toy factory. So I will confirm this, and then I will sign this transaction with my blockchain private key. So this is very important aspect of the Cargo X. Each user configures their own private key. It's like their own certificate, and only user with the certificate, with the private key, can transfer the ownership of the documents from their possession to somebody else. And because CargoX is a neutral platform, we build the infrastructure, the architecture this way. And this means that not even us as a provider of this service can take the document away from you or access the document. You have the sole control of your documents and your data. And we think that's the only way how a global trade and exchange of documents worldwide between countries with different politics options, and we know what's happening with sanctions and so on. We think that the neutrality is the only approach how this can be assured. All right, so I will sign this with my private key. I will check here that I understand that once I sign this transaction, the transfer is final and cannot be reverted, and I will sign and transfer. So because we're using the blockchain, just two words about the blockchain. Each information that is stored in the blockchain is stored forever. There is no way to change the history. So once it's in the blockchain, that's it. All right, and we have now transferred this document to the next party. So I will go to my second tab, where I'm logged in as a toy factory, and we can see I have already received the document. And I will click on it, and I can see the document as I have received it. And let's say, so I am the exporter of the goods. Let's say that the contractual obligations from my buyer was met, so he already paid for the goods. So I am now ready to transfer the BL to the consignee. So in order to do that, I will just forward this envelope, and I get now a new envelope, so I can decide who I want to send it to, and I will provide a name of my consignee here. So it's toy store. Let's say it's a Dutch retailer of the toys, and so I have in my envelope one document, the BL. But for the convenience sake, let's say I want to add a few more supporting documents, if you wish. So I will choose the upload new, and I will provide, let's say, an invoice and a warranty letter, so that I don't need to send those through email or WhatsApp or some other channels, so that I have all the documents in one place, which allows me to easily search them later. All right, so this will be the invoice. So let's say it's invoice. And the warranty letter, let's say that this is a warranty letter. I will not provide any additional information like numbers, although I could. All right, and we now have 3 documents here intended to send to toy store, and let's start the transfer. So I will seal this, and once it is sealed, the transfer action is available. So let's transfer this as well. So again, a nice overview of what is about to happen. And once I click next and sign this with my private blockchain key, I am allowed to transfer this ownership of these documents to the next party. All right, so this is being transferred. All right, it's gone. And I will move now to my third company, to the toy store, to the consignee. We can see they already received this. So the transfers are happening within seconds. Depending on the state of the network, it can take up to a few minutes. But generally, this speed is achievable no matter where on the planet you are. So even for a transfer of documents from India to US or Europe, it takes just a few seconds compared to 5 to 10 days for the express couriers. It's quite a gain. Also on the blockchain, there is no way, it's not possible to lose documents, and it is not possible that the documents get damaged. And because we are tracking the blockchain digital fingerprint of the document on the blockchain, we can also give you mathematically sound assurances that nobody has tampered with the document, so you are dealing with the original document. All right, so the consignee has received all 3 documents. Of course, they can view the documents, they can download the documents. So, for example, the warranty letter, which I added here, they can at any time access all the documents, download them, print them, whatever they need. The CargoX is completely open. We do not believe in user locked in. Okay, with that, let's say that I now receive a call from the port of destination, from the release agent, informing me that the ship has arrived, and they're asking me to provide the BL in order to claim the cargo. So again, I will forward this as a consignee, and in the envelope, I will choose that I want to send this to the Eurosan Logistic, right? Because here in the house BL document, they are set as a release agent, Eurosan Logistic. And let's say that I want them to clear the customs for me, so I will also leave the invoice in this envelope, but I will remove the warranty letter because they don't need to see it. So I will send 2 documents further to the release agent. So let's seal this, and let's initiate the transfer. As you can see here, at every moment when you're about to send documents, you can see the price. And if you have noticed, on the first screen, when I was logged in as the first user, the price he was paying for the transfer of the house BL document. And this is how the CargoX platform works. Only the company that is uploading, that is creating the document on the blockchain is paying for the transfer. And this transfer is currently $15, so $15. And this price covers all the subsequent transfers for all involved parties. And it can be up to 50 hops for the BL documents, which means that the shipper, that the consignee, that even the release agent or banks in between, they would pay nothing to receive and forward this document further. And even more, we allow them to attach their own supporting documents like invoices, warranty letters, packaging lists, and so on, free of charge. So we are not charging them anything. All right, and this, this greatly speeds up the adoption of the platform because they can use the platform for free while still enjoying all the benefits like the security, like the really fast transfer times, and so on. All right, so now the consignee is transferring the BL and the invoice to the release agent. And finally, let's go to my last tab where I'm logged in as a release agent, and we can see that both documents have arrived. So because I am set as a release agent for this HBL, I also have additional action available, which is release cargo. So once I'm ready to release the cargo under this BL, I will just initiate this transaction. And with that, also, this state is stored on the blockchain. All right. And in a few seconds, we will see that the status of this BL will change to cargo released. And at that moment, all, of course, everybody, all four parties in this screen, in this flow, they will be informed that the cargo was released. Because what is really important here is that the ownership transfer of the document is always direct. It's always from you to the recipient. We as CargoX, we are merely providing an interface, an easy user interface towards using the blockchain, but we don't have access to your documents. We don't see documents. You are not giving us the document to carry to the next party, right? It's not like the FedEx or DHL where you give the document to the delivery guy and then for the next 3 days you have no clue where that document, where that envelope is. The transfer is always direct. And we can see that this document was released. And if we click on the audit log now, we can see everything that was happening with this document. And this is really a big benefit, something that was not possible before, right? Because each document transfer is stored on the public blockchain, which we already said that nobody controls, no one company, nor even one country. So it's completely decentralized. Everybody can be sure that nobody was mangling with this information. So if there is ever a need to, decide or to see where the responsibility lay for some document, everybody can trust this data. So we can see that this document was created by Happy Sun Logistics at this date and moment, and when it was then transferred, the ownership of this document to the toy factory, and then the toy factory transferred it to toy store, and so on. And you don't have to believe us as a CargoX, because these information are written on the public blockchain. And if I click this link, I can show you what exactly is written on the blockchain. And, although we are using the public blockchain, which is the only one that is providing all the benefits of the blockchain technology, the sensitive private information is never stored into a public blockchain. So here you can only see that it was something transferred from the user with this address to user with this blockchain address. But you have, as a general public, they don't know that which two companies are behind these two addresses. And also the document itself, it is not stored on the blockchain. So if I expand this, but what is stored on the blockchain is that digital fingerprint, so that everybody can track that the document did not change along the way. And this is it. So it's only this. So you can be rest assured that all your private data, your business secrets, they remain safe. Only you have access to them and the parties that you are sharing the documents with. Yeah. So that's about this short demo. So we have released this, and after the document is released, it is moved to the archive, where all companies that were part of this document flow can access it. And CargoX provides 10 years of the digital archive for all involved parties. So it is really easy to use the platform. And also powerful search algorithm, and you can have unlimited number of users under your company, and they can have different permissions. And yeah. So with that, I would now give word back to Peter, maybe, or to the next speaker. And if there are any questions, we can address them in the Q&A section. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. Mr. Yaka, you would be taking over for the next presentation?
No, actually, that was Yaka, Shankarji.
Okay, Yaka will present. Thanks, Mr. Yaka. Yeah.
Yeah, he has finished. We could either go to the Q&A for this section now or at the end, as you like. If it's at the end, then we can hand over to Mr. Shirish Shah now, sir.
Okay, should we take the question and answers at the last, once we finish all the presentations?
Sure.
Yeah. Mr.
So
Peter to present.
Then it's Shirish.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for FILA. This is third direct interaction, maybe with a portal for the FILA members. First was at Kakinada, second was at Nasik, and now with the webinar. So that portal always is with the FILA member, FA members to give a solution on the PCS 1X. A small journey before I put up the presentation. I'll share the presentation now. A small journey of the PCS 1X. It started in 2018. Before that, Government of India was having an Indian port community system. As it is said, PCS, it is always centric to port. And initial 10 years, they did a long way of implementation in the major port. But the end customer, that is the FA and its members, were not able to get the proper benefit out of that. So when the PCS was to move to PCS 1X, we envisaged that the end customer, the CHAs, the custom broker, the freight forwarder should get a meaningful of the system. It was a very fast drive. In 6 months, we have to deliver the project. We delivered, and over a period with this 1.5 year with the trade, we have kept on adding values to the product. The PCS not keeping ourselves limited to the tender conditions. We got an EDO solution now with the COVID happening. Already me, our team, Mira, we started the blockchain concept maybe from January, and it has become a true part of PCS 1X. So I will just go through the presentation. So as we always say, the end customer will always see for a cost control as well as a delight being we are kept on the top as the requirement, and that we have always driven PCS to make it simplified, to reduce the cost, to have the delight for the customer. This is a small journey of PCS 1X. From 2001 it started, and in 2018 when we took over, we have completely taken a leap over the PCS 1.0, so that the API concept has been brought, the cloud concept has been brought, mobile app has been brought, and it is been made as maximum. We started with 8 customers. Today we have got 8 stakeholders. Today we have got 21 stakeholders on that. And very importantly, the PCS has a enterprise service bus, which a single message can go to multiple stakeholders simultaneously. The very important, I will give an example. The container freight station were not getting proper IGMs. They were not getting full IGMs. We, with the customs, we brought the full-fledged IGMs on the PCS 1X, and now we have seen the corresponding CFS gets the particular part of the IGM. No doubt, we always say the full data is not coming, etc. So with the government of India, it has been driven that customs starts API. And for everybody's information, the first API should go live today or tomorrow is the vessel call sign. And this is going live. There are total 11 APIs which will be coming on by the customs. It is really 23 messages of the customs. Initially, custom in PCS 1.2 till even today also, it is only 8 messages are coming from the customs. But with happening all these 11 APIs, there are 23 messages coming from the customs, which will be live as an API. So we'll have all data information available and which can be given to stakeholder. Secondly, now with the PCS 1X, the next stage has been shown as NLP, the National Logistic Portal. We always say PCS is port centric. Now with the National Logistic Portal, will be going to the cargo centric. So it will be for importer, exporter, and the CHAs who can do all their activities directly through PCS, including the transactions. Because PCS is a message exchange. We can do a transaction level. So this is what was the rollout plan, which already I have covered the PCS 1.2, PCS 1X facility coverage. This is the stakeholder coverage. We started with, as I said, 8 stakeholders. Today we have 27 stakeholders and 15,900 users. With the for the forum, we have 4739 importer exporters and 5595 customer agents already registered on the PCS 1X. So every day with the even triple API, we have arranged a direct registration and we got a good response from them, and we have jumped the figure of the CA customer agent from merely some few hundreds to 5595. Now we move the current availability functionality for the custom broker. Since this is directly talking with the ICE gate, the custom broker can see his bill of entry, outer charge, shipping bill, late export order, and need not wait for an email from the customs. No doubt, IceGate has an email register of all the CHAs of the custom brokers, and then they send it only to corresponding only email the message goes. But here, whoever is registered, you can see his documentation happening. Same way for shipping line activities, there is a e-invoicing, e-payment, eBL, what we are discussing today's bus point with the cargo X and agent delivery order. For operational activities, we have advanced assessment charges and PD account charges. This is particularly Shankar Shinde Saab will remember. We had a FIO meeting in December in Delhi. There was this point come up ki for the DPD containers, why the custom broker cannot pay directly to the ports terminals rather than going via shipping line. And after that, respected Commissioner John Joseph came with a circular, and the ports like DP World, PSA came forward, whereas the custom broker or any member of AAA can directly pay their charges. So that module also we have is available, live available, because this same model is used for a cargo charges in a general cargo terminals. Further, for a CFS, there are the biggest runner boy, what we call in the custom broker or a CHA. He is the most runner, really by the name runner boy, to run from pillar to post, from CFS to CFS, getting documentation done. He has to practically hit every corner of the people, right from the stacker operator, the custom officer, the CFSs. So we have a module where he can put all the requests to the concerns to CFS directly. For your all information, today 130 CFSs are registered on PCS 1X. And out of that, initially 9 messages were identified which can benefit to the custom broker. Instead of sending the person, they can do all this activity by just putting a request through PCS and they will get a confirmation. The runner activity can reduce. Same is with the ICDs. We have same done with the ICD. Even ICD EDO model is live on the PCS 1X. So this is the flow, overall flow. This presentation I'll share with Triple FAI, where this activity, the green color activity can happen through PCS, like performa invoice, as I told you, getting an out of charge copy, getting a delivery order, port payments can be done, out of charge, EDO, form 13, final invoice, extension of DO, arranging, there is a transport module where you can have a transport also. The beauty of transport module is where a CH, the custom broker, can have his transporter by putting a request to him. That request will go to transporter. Transporter will either accept or reject, and he can allocate the trucks. The moment he allocates the trucks or trailers, that will be available, and with identification number will be generated, and those will be available to the concerned port. All the major ports are live on transport module. They will be having the identification number. So no data is required at the terminal gates. Very importantly, this transport model is connected with E1 and E-Sarthi. Therefore, the documentation required of the CIF officer checking the document or the driver detail to be verified. These both are not required. So that has been implemented live with the PCS. The same way for the export, we have the freight booking module is there. The container booking can be done. EVGM is there. We have again transport is there. Late export order can be seen. Carting order can be done. And the receipt of the late export order also can be done. I have made a small jigsaw where you can see the freight booking, transport module, RES package, CFS ICD activity, shipping line activities, e-seal, e-VGM, all can happen for a custom broker through the PCS 1X. This is a site. So now, if the time permits, in 5 minutes time, I show the actual UAT server of the PCS 1X, where you can see how the cargo X will be connected, as well as the OBL part can be, which is we have added latest with COVID. That also activity can happen through PCS1X. So I'm stopping the share. This share I'm going to the where I can show you live. I hope everybody is able to see the Indian IP Indian Port Association website. This is a UAT server. So now I am logging into as an exporter, importer or exporter. So this is, as you see, we have cargo, regulatory clearance and others as the activity where we can have in cargo, we have containerized, non-containerized mode of transport, EDO. If you go to other session, we have a latch on services. Here we can go to Picasso. And now this is the site where we go to eBL and trade documents. So here this is the cargo X which was spoken. So you can click on the cargo X and we can see, do you want to transfer via public eternal blockchain? We say yes. And then we move to the cargo X platform. So from here, as what was shown earlier, all activities can happen for a cargo on this platform. Simultaneously, you are on the PCS side where you go back to the home. In cargo, you go to cargo, we go to the EDO where we have added a BL surrender. One section here, what we have done, you can go to the add new. As a custom broker, you enter the BL number, you enter the BL date, shipping line you enter, complete all shipping line data is available. You can select a scenario. It can be a direct, through bank or to order, and is the BL possession in transit with the consignee or with the custom broker and with shipper. Attach the scan copy. Once you submit, this request will go to the shipping line where they will know that so custom broker has requested for a surrender of BL on the cargo X. So once this is there, the shipping line will issue a confirmation number to the through the PCS1X, and once the shipping line gets the surrender copy through the cargo X, he will go. He will be going back to the EDO. And then in the e-invoice module, the e-invoice request, you can see here, so and so your bill of lading invoice has been received from the shipping line. So either you go to the action, pay, or if you are already paying through by other modes, just you have to enter the details of the payment done. And once this request goes to the shipping line will have a EO done, and EODO can be issued through this. Very importantly, this invoice is completely an encryption format. So it is again with public key and with the private key. So there is no reading of the data on the PCS, completely on the PCS. So here you can have the all generated, whatever generated EDOs are there. and simultaneously this EDO will go to the number of people. It can go to the custodian, it can go to the empty yard. For information, the 225 empty has been registered on the PCS1X. So all they get prior information of the loaded containers coming. They have been getting integrated. They are all registered. Now they are getting integrated with the empty discharge with the IL etc. also. So once that empty information will directly can go. So your booking model which is connected to this, all information will be available on the PCS1X. So you can have a make payment module. You can use a payment module from here, as well as you can pay directly from your means. So here it is already paid. If you go to already paid session, then you can enter the details, because at times payments are done directly. So that restriction we are not kept, so that and upload the payment receipt. So the shipping line knows, so they can generate the EDO for you. Similarly, in the clearance module, you have import and export, where you can see the bill of entry on submission. So the details for that custom broker, you can see all these bill of entry. You can see all is out of charge. You can see the transshipment permit approval. You can see in the export the shipping bill details, LEO, the EGM acknowledgement also can be seen through here. And for cargo, you have both cargo, and this is the mode of transport model which I spoke. It can be rail and road. In the road, you have the EIR also is a message can be seen here. Gate open report also can be seen to the custom broker. So I stop the sharing now. So for this, we request FFI to have more onboarding, and so that whatever more requirements are there, we can add into, and this really we transfer this PCS1X to the National Logistic Portal. Thank you. This is from my side.
Shankar, I need to mute.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shirish, for the detailed presentation on portal and the integration with the CargoX. And before moving to the question and answer session, I would like to thank once again to all the panelists, Mr. Yaka Mele, Mr. Peter also, and Mr. Patrick. We can come onto the screen, so if there is any question, we can take it up. But one thing we are still not able to get, Shiyaka, with regard to the releasing of the master bill of lading. What we got it is with the house bill of lading or the own forwarders bill of lading, and it is just a transformation from one platform to another or from one authority to another authority. But whether the shipping lines would be also the part to release the bill of lading online, and that same document becomes the electronic bill of lading to transfer to the bank or to the various title holders, to the whole channel, and finally to the surrender of the bill of lading. So there we find some lacking of where you need to highlight on that. Would Mr. Yaka would like to answer, or Mr. Peter?
Should we take this as the first of the questions and start?
Yes, before we go to the question answer to open, we would just like to have this open forum. Or you can come on the screen, everybody can switch on the video, so it will be easy for everyone to follow.
Yeah. Peter, Yaka, would you like me to take that, or will one of you do that?
No, I can also answer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the delay. I was not allowed to unmute. It happened now. Of course, during the presentation, my colleague Yaka used a house bill of lading, but the same goes with the master bill of lading. Any shipping line can just create a free account on the platform and issue an electronic bill of lading. We are completely neutral. We already had a number of shipping lines in our portfolio. We work in exclusively now for a year now with a bulk carrier, a very substantial one. So we entertain the master bill of ladings, and the cargo is also upon the presentation and the surrendering of the master bill of lading being released at the port of destination, and even customs authorities are picking up on it to clear the cargo. We also have a prominent carriers in the container sea carriage industry, participant in the POC that we are running together with Portal and Ms. Mira. So to answer the question, the platform works either side. Either can be a house bill of lading or can be a master bill of lading. Yeah. No, rightfully so. There is a lot of interest and a lot of speculation around, how to actually go into the sphere of the master bill of ladings. But again, I think that the ease of doing business with CargoX and our neutrality and decentralized concept is giving the power and the leverage to the forwarding community, to the exporters, to actually approach along with us, either carrier, to actually open up to our platform and to start sending and releasing their bill of ladings, electronic bill of lading through our platform.
Shankarji, if I could just add to Peter, so the short answer is yes. The same platform works for LC shipment and for master bills of lading. Uh, I think there are a couple of questions, particularly on LC, we can answer more in detail then. But yes, this is works equally well for the master bill of lading.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mira and Peter, for the lovely answers. So let's just go further with some of the questions that have been raised. So there's a question raised by Mr. Sudeep Day. What solution can you offer to a customs broker for digitally storing his documents, like customs documents, invoices, etc.? Mira, would you like to take that?
I think it should be Yaka or Peter. Peter, Yaka, I'm not sure if you get the question, particularly for customs brokers and their own documents. So I'm guessing the question says, other than just transfer, do we have a storage solution? And since you mentioned archive, etc. Peter, would you
So
like to?
the platform supports over 50 document types. So like I said, we started in the freight forwarding, in the maritime industry. We are expanding to other industries. The companies can also suggest other document type if there such a need. And like I said, we included in the platform is the 10-year archiving. So this means that any kind of document can be uploaded, created on the platform, and transferred over the blockchain. What we are especially seeing in the last few years is a uptake of our platform for the companies that are out of this industry completely, but they're using it for the transfer of invoices, for example. We had quite a few cases where some malicious player hacked the email and changed the invoice to have a different bank account number, which resulted in a company paying a legitimate invoice, but to a completely different fake bank account somewhere in some islands, right? And the money was gone. So in order to solve such things that email is not a secure channel, you can easily transact over CargoX, and for any other document types as well. And regarding the question about the banks, so in order to register a CargoX account, this is free of charge and it takes 5 minutes. And then once you are on the CargoX, you can transfer documents to other companies on the platform. So as I said, there is no licensing fees, there is no investment needed, there is only pay as you use if you are the company that is issuing the document on the blockchain. If you're just receiving and forwarding the document or adding support documents, you don't have to pay anything. I hope that answered.
I would just like to add here, right? When you start your work process already digital, right? It's also much easier to store and to archive those data and documents, right? And as Yaka said, even within our platform, you have the ability to then archive your documents for years for any kind of audit, inspection, or other requirement later on. With a simple search button within your archive, digital archive, you can retrieve all those documents, you can print them out, you can download, you can put it on a USB stick, whatever you want, and you share them with the authority of the regulator that is running an audit, for instance, right? So all that makes the business process easier, faster, more efficient, and more transparent.
I would like to add something more. The PCS 1X has something called latch on. So we can always have a document management system as a latch on to the PCS 1X, and where the custom broker can very well keep his document. So that freeness is available on the system, being the open platform.
Great. Thank you so much, Shirish, Peter, Yaka, and Mira for the answers. We'll move on to, so we already have a fan, Peter and Yaka. So we have Darshan says that I believe blockchain can help the logistics sector to do business. I'm very excited about it and would love to contribute and be a part of the team for development of this technology. So I hope you're starting an office in India very soon.
Very soon.
So we have one question from Mr. Vishal Dada. The question goes, so if the importer, exporter, or the shipping line or forwarder is not on the system, how is it beneficial to the custom broker, or can the custom broker still use the system?
Should I?
Mira, will you?
Yeah. So your question is, I'd like to interpret it as the degree of control that the customs broker has if the other players in the chain are not on the platform.
Yeah.
If I could interpret a question that way, the answer would be yes, all the critical players need to be on the platform in order for the customs broker to then finally be able to avail its use. But the reason that we are presenting this to you today are two. Firstly, we believe that the freight forwarder and the customs broker, you guys are the critical part of this chain, and you understand this value proposition and the requirement of documents smoothly flowing. So you are a great influence on the shippers, on the importers, and on the carriers. So one thing we would hope is that the value propositions once understood here would be a degree of influence on the shipments itself. You know which are the shipments where there is consistently voyage time too short, therefore documents don't reach. You know which are the shipments where consistently there are challenges with respect to couriers getting stuck or documents not reaching in time. So we feel that addressing to you, we will reach out to the audience and get the decision of the exporter, importer, and the carrier faster. That is one aspect. The other aspect, as both Peter and Yaka mentioned, is increasingly the platform is being used for any document, not necessarily only for the bill of lading related chain. So the rest of the documents which you also participate in, if you're completing your dossier of shipping or shipment related documentation, and you need to send it on maybe to a 3PL logistics company you work with in some other part of the world, the customs broker in their own right could use the platform to move documents back and forth, and it's a much lower charge for point to point transfer. And then, as mentioned earlier, you can also archive and use it as a repository. So that's the way I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, so I think it's great. Having the ability to transmit documents today. If you send documents via an envelope, it takes a couple of days to reach. But if it's transmitted through, it'll hardly take maybe less than 10 minutes to transmit from one to another, and you can verify the authenticity of the document as well. So to prevent fraud. Let's move on further. So this is addressed to Mr. Yaka. Can you please speak, say, or give more information about the charges for transfer from the first to the last transfer with many other transfers in between? So I believe what the question is that you have the issuer of the document, and the document may move across various stakeholders. So what is the cost structure like? And is it uniform across documents, or is there a different cost structure for volume-based documents, etc.?
Yeah, so like I said, the basic cost is 15 US dollars, 15, for the transfer of the document of title, such as House BL or the Master BL. Some other documents have different prices, usually lower, like the Telex release is only 3 US dollars and so on. It is important that only the issuer of the document, the one that is uploading the document to the blockchain through CargoX, is paying this cost. And within this cost, everything is included. So other companies that take place in receiving and then forwarding this document, they have zero charges. And once, if I say zero charges, I saw also the question in the comments, it means zero. There is no other hidden cost involved. Yeah, so no cloud storage, no nothing. Everything is included in this initial price. We understand that some forwarders have already asked us in the past, oh, but why is this cost on us? If especially the exporter, the shipper has the majority of the cost saving, because he doesn't have to pay the very expensive over the sea, over the ocean carriage of the envelope of the documents. But we are not involved in your pricing policy. So you, as an NBOCC, you are still free to charge this service to your customers, right? But right now you are giving them a lot of added benefits, a lot of added value. The documents transfer, in a couple of seconds across the world, or also it's exactly the same value for the short sea as well, because there you have a lot of problems sometimes that the documents are late because the ship only takes a few days. And in this case, so you have a speed, you have the security, and you have the convenience that you are dealing with the digital document. So the document flow is vastly superior, vastly optimized. You don't have, to search for documents. Documents cannot be late, and so on. So a lot of added value, which you can charge to your customer at the end of the day, right? I hope this answers the question. Peter wants to add something, maybe?
No, I mean, you've said it. I also see it this way. I was on the side of the carrier and on the side of the NVOCC. I've started using the platforms when I was still working for the NVOCC. So we basically use this opportunity as a short upsell. So we were actually charging more than the incoming cost was. And of course, we were creating extra value on the market. And by that, we gained some market advantage. Of course, back then it was still with very early adopters, but they are out there that are willing to test and try the digital or the electronic bill of lading. And it works either with the bank or everybody. I mean, so far I had no bad experience and no kickbacks with using the digital documents. Digital documents are prohibited basically around the world to be discriminated versus the physical documents. So the platform works perfectly to address that segment. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the answer. I think you all summed it up in a fantastic way. So we have a couple of people who raised their hands. So I'm going to allow Mr. Ashok Bhagat. Sir, can you please ask your question? Mr. Bhagat?
I just wanted to know as to how much will it cost the whole software system?
So Peter or Yaka, would you like to take that, or Mira?
What was the question again, please?
So what will the system cost? The question is, what will the system cost? Yeah, go ahead, Mira.
If we are talking about both the things we presented today, CargoX and of course what Shirish presented in the PCS, both do not operate as traditional software, sir. So there is no cost, no license purchase, no implementation, no AMC, no overhead whatsoever. So what you pay is a transaction-based fee, typically it looks something like this. If it is
Radhika?
Stage, you're not on mute. Yeah. So typically it looks something like this. If it's a document of title or an original bill
You
of,
guys are talking.
then it is about $15, as Peter and Yaka told you. Any other document is normally much less, as small as $3. So if you compare it with the cost of courier from point to point, international courier, and the cost of ensuring an original document, the fee is very, very minimal. And there is no other fee except when you actually use the platform. So you create an account free of charge and you consume, and only when you consume, you pay. I hope I've answered.
Perfect, perfect. So, Ashok Uncle, so the software is actually free of cost. You only pay for it as you use it. So we have a couple of more hands. Mr. Manish. Manish?
Hello. Yeah. Hi. Actually, my question is actually I posted on Q&A. So this concept is very nice, but how we are going to take care of the stamp duty payable on bill of lading? I think there's ₹1 stamp duty payable on bill of lading. So, any idea about that?
So Meera, we had this conversation. Please, over to you.
Okay. Manish sir, we have been having this conversation internally, and I'd love to hear more about it even after this particular meeting from you. I think a few of us should make a little team and study it a little deeper. In my study, majority of shipping lines are no longer doing this. I myself have worked as a Maersk and Safmarine agent for close to 20 years. I do agree we used to do this, but it's been some years since it stopped. I understand it was under the Indian Stamp Act. uh, Today, majority of bills of lading are printed remotely in the offices of shippers or forwarders. So lines are not really buying these revenue stamps or affixing them. I'm not an expert, sir, but this is my knowledge after speaking to many lines, because this question you've asked has come up before. Um, I may not be able to give you a complete answer, but I can tell you what I know, which it doesn't look like this process is required under the eBL umbrella. And I would be more than happy if you have more information. And even after this meeting, if a few of us solve this problem once and for all.
Yes, actually, because we were talking to one shipping line, big shipping line. I will not take the name. So they said they are not aware about this process. So
None of the big lines are doing it, sir. I also
yeah,
called few people because I knew that I hadn't seen a stamp on an OBL for a very long time. So
correct.
I checked back, and nobody's even buying those revenue stamps, and there's no documentation counter. Majority of cases, it's a remote printing. So
Yeah.
I'm not really sure that's valid anymore, sir.
So
So
Manish,
I think
going further, we are going digital. So we will see a lot more processes change.
that's
And
true.
we will have to change with time. So
Okay.
moving further, thank you so much, Manish bhai, for the question. Let's go to
Says
Mr.
that
Raj.
is that is the aim of the PCS 1X. I'm going to NLP. We have to do digitalization, no paper.
Correct. That's what we need. Uh, Mr. Raj Mohan. Mr. Raj Mohan.
Yes. Can
Go
you hear
ahead,
me?
sir. You're live.
Yeah, good evening, panelists. And my question is how CargoLex platform will work with cargo vertical, air cargo vertical.
So, Shirish bhai, Peter, would you like to take that?
I don't think I quite understood.
So the question is, so you have negotiable. So typically, a bill of lading is a negotiable instrument in most cases. As far as an air cargo airway bill, it's actually a non-negotiable instrument. So how would Cargo X make an impact in non-negotiable instruments?
Well, like in other use cases where the platform is being used for other type of documents, could be even a TIRCARnet or something else, which is also non-negotiable documents. What we do through our platform, we trace the authenticity of this document and we speed up the process. I had a presentation with Fiata personally on utilization of our platform for the airway, for air bill of lading, including the master and all substance. And we come to the conclusion that it speeds up the process substantially because we could link the platform to the departure trigger of an airplane. So the destination airport customs authorities would receive all the documents while the plane is still in flight and start clearing the cargo. They could separate the documents and the cargo that is for which the airport is final destination, and create a new envelope where they start putting in documents for the connecting flights if the cargo is flying further, right? So in terms of proof of authenticity, traceability of the document, and the speed of managing the document, we can also help out in the air industry.
Thank you.
I have an additional question.
Mr.
Do you have any other special price for air cargo industry?
As Jaka already explained, there are different tiers of pricing within our platform. I do believe that airway bill goes in the segment of $3 per document. So it's based on how you use it, how you pay it. If it's one airway bill, that would be equivalent to a $3 per transaction. And of course, everybody in the chain is using the platform for free.
Yes. Thank you very much, Peter. So we will take two more questions. So the first one is by Mr. Joshi. An original bill of lading has to be endorsed, signed on the back, and to transmit the title of goods. In Cargo X, how can we regularize the same, or how can we follow that same process? A simple working explanation on the same would be appreciated. So over to you, Peter. Mira?
Mira wants to.
No, I'll just take a sentence and then hand it over to you or Yaka. I think Yaka or Peter would explain, but basically the platform allows you to endorse at every stage or to leave a comment at every stage upon the audit trail of the document. So just as with a physical document, you sign on the reverse and put a stamp, and then you leave your instructions for the next person, the very same methodology is used on the blockchain platform with the e-document. Just saying as much, I'll hand it over to Yaka or Peter. I don't know, Yaka, if you want to show it quickly or.
If
Sure, we
I would
can.
just like to comment. Yaka has shown that each transaction is signed by using a private key, which is equivalent to a hand signature, right? So by confirming each transaction by your private key, you actually endorse the document. We had cases where the, let's say, customs or somebody else has asked for the proof of endorsement. So the download of the audit logbook has been sufficient for them to accept as a proof of endorsement, and then release the cargo and process the customs clearance. We had these live cases and live situations, let's say also in Brazil, and the downloaded audit trail was sufficient to prove the endorsement of the document.
I can also quickly show. So once you create a new envelope and you add a document in it, like let's say it's master BL this time, and let's use the same agent. You can also add here at the bottom the message, and these are the instructions for the recipient. So and with that, I think we cover all use case. And like Peter said, at the end, you can also download the audit log and use this as a proof of ownership of the documents and proof of the flow of the documents. And also, if you go to, so everybody is of course welcome to register at cargox.digital. We like as I said, there is zero fee. You can register your company for free, and then under the billing, you have full access to the price list. Here, for each document type, you can see the prices, right? I would like to mention that some documents, the basic documents that, it's even okay today to exchange over the email, we provide also support for these documents, and it's free of charge. So we are quite aware that on one side we are competing with email, and with the physical couriers, express couriers on the other side. So our goal is to provide the best of both worlds, right? The full digitization, full security, best speed, and you have an audit log, and the blockchain transactions have been proven acceptable in the courts of law, even in countries like US and China. So I'm sure other countries will follow. So I have just some article here about China's Supreme Court recognizing blockchain evidence as legally binding, and there are numerous cases all over the world. So back to you.
And maybe just from the legal point of view, if you would like to hear it. Well, all the participants actually are in agreement through terms and conditions, and they all agree that the electronically signed document is actually signed its signature. We have the same situation nowadays when shipper is issuing the bill of lading, for example. If a shipping company has this kind of agreement with the shipper, then the shipper can actually be the one that is issuing the paper document, which is not signed by the shipping line.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick, for jumping in. So we'll take one last question and then we'll move on. So we have Mr. Arun Kumar, who has a fantastic question since you mentioned Brazil. So he says, whether countries like Brazil, who are insisting for original documents, even for the master bill of lading, and don't accept surrender documents, will they entertain the eBL?
To answer, yes. I mean, it's digitization is happening worldwide. There might be still some pockets of some legislation, but that is being attended right now. The speed of digitization has been boosted by the pandemic. We need to recognize that. But the world is not new to digitization. As I've started my discussion today in a short intro, we have seen multiple industries already completely digitized, right? And it's also happening in the maritime or the supply chain industry. We have completed so far, I think, around 10 discharges of master bill of lading in Brazil, and everything went fine, right? As I said before, this is not about digital documents, it's about understanding the technology and having the trust into the technology that we are actually dealing with authenticity and legally binding documents.
Thank you very much, Peter, for the lovely answer. So with this, we come to an end to our question and answer session. I now hand it over back to Shankar Bhai to take things further.
Once again, thanks to all. Thanks, Mira, and the panelists for enlightening on this e-bill of lading. Still, we have a lot to go ahead with this e-bill of lading. As a lot of stakeholders, we need to get on the platform. And now I would request our Mr. Dushan Mulan to propose a vote of thanks. Mr. Dushan Bhai. Mr. Dushan Mulani. Can I have Mr. Dushan Mulani? Yeah. Mr. Dushan Mulani? Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon all. Thank you, each one of you. Great audience. The subject chosen by FFA is such. I thank Chairman Vijay Kumar for choosing the theme of it, because in the present day times, it is very crucial that going digital is the only way forward. And whatever doubts and hurdles that people had, I think this current period, COVID epidemic period, has dispelled those particular hurdles and doubts. And this is the most opportune time to go ahead with this initiative. I thank the entire portal team,
Thank you.
Peter Kern, uh, Mr. Patrick, Meera Kumarji, Mr. Yaka, and it's been a wonderful session. Back in here, I thank our chairman's team, Mr. Shankar Shinde, Mr. Tej Contractor, Dr. Neerav, for their wonderful preparations and inputs. Thank you, each one of you, for being so attentive and giving valuable inputs and most pertinent questions. Yes, the point is that we all know that these initiatives which are being rolled out are going to be the order of the day. And my only suggestion here to the portal team would be that keep timelines ready, because we find the current digital transactions, still timelines are not followed by a lot of stakeholders. So that is one aspect where FFA is getting a lot of feedback, is that let's keep timelines in each of our transactions and then go ahead. With this, the series of webinars that are in pipeline will surely enrich our members considerably about a lot of important issues to be dealt with in the current times. Thank you all. Thank you for being with us, and wishing everybody a safe stay. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the attendees and thanks to all the panelists. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you very much. Sincere thanks for
you.
joining us. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thanks for all attendees. Bye.
Thanks to all. Bye bye.